Welcome to the finale of our Donkey Kong Country redo. In this last world and then the final boss. Oddly enough, we don't get to actually have a world based on Gameplay Galleon until the next game.
So, was it Donkey Kong Country that we had like a one-part cameo from Big L2K6 in it, or?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he showed up for Klonoa for us.
Ah, right, Klonoa. We did.
Which is
I've
another.
heard that name in years.
We did wonderful commentaries on the Klonoa series. Absolutely wonderful. That's a lie.
I think we did a decent enough job for the second game.
That was the PS2 one?
Yeah.
Oh no, that one fucking sucked.
Alright.
I was so bored. Like, cause I never played that one before. The only Klonoa game I ever played was like on the GBA, and I'm not sure if that was an original title or based off of maybe
Klonoa
PS1
has
entry.
this weird quality of being one of those games that's like languid and relaxing to play, but also not very fun to watch. Is a weird thing about it.
Good, because as far as the redo series, I'm going to redo the Wii version at some point.
I'm out.
What was it, a Door to Phantom Mile?
Yeah. Well, it's the remake of the first
Yeah.
one, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one I played. I never played it on PlayStation. I didn't discover it until the Wii version. It's good. It's a good game. I enjoyed it. It's a bit easy for my liking. So I don't go back to it, but I had an easier time getting into it than Kirby, for whatever that tells you.
Yeah, I think Klonoa was designed for little children.
Probably, yeah.
Like
Well, more with kids in mind, yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know, so is Mario, and it never bored me quite so much as some games that are like really easy for
I think
kids tend to.
it's funny you say that. I don't find it as obvious with Mario, and it could be because I wouldn't classify Mario as like cutesy or kiddie.
Well, it kind of is, but it also has this demented edge to half of it that offsets it in weird ways. So,
Well, you know, Kirby and Klonoa are cute designs, like just inherently.
They're
Mario's like,
they have horrifying Eldritch combinations though in them.
yeah, but you know what I'm getting at though. Mario is a I don't know, middle-aged plumber from New York. Like, I was like, what the fuck is child-friendly about that?
mushroom,
Luigi, what the fuck is this?
smiling mushroom people, princess in pink dress, turtle dinosaur as the bad guy.
Yeah,
Interspecies relationships.
No, kids don't think about that stuff, okay?
I mean, Mama Peach.
We really... Okay, none of us thought about that stuff at that age, okay? It's when we got older and decided to voluntarily ruin our own childhoods that we started thinking about that stuff.
Oh, I'll contest voluntarily.
No, it was totally voluntary. You know what you're doing.
I disagree.
It's like...
Look, what? See,
John,
now I click on one YouTube video, and then my recommended page gets full
John,
of all this other bullshit.
right
Look,
now,
I can't help
it's like
myself.
you're the 30-year-old who goes to a bar and drinks 3 gallons of vodka and then complains that it made him drunk. Come on. Would you even survive 3 gallons of vodka? I don't think so.
No, you'd probably die.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's blatant alcohol poisoning.
Unless you're Russian.
Oh yeah, they've got
Okay.
stomachs of iron, they do. Fucking Krogans. But, oh, that didn't work out.
Are we ever going to get to Mass Effect 2, by the way?
No, and I hope we don't.
Oh, come on. I've been sitting on 40-plus parts of that, and I swear to God, it's a more fun game to commentate on than the first game, because it's non-stop action, which is a problem for the game's design, but it makes it a lot easier to commentate on, I swear. It's like an endless action fantasy Star Wars movie. Come on. I mean, it doesn't have lightsabers, but it's the closest you'll get without
Is there a
lightsabers.
moon buggy?
What?
Is there a moon buggy?
No.
Okay, good. Okay,
The moon buggy only comes back in Andromeda, and it's way better in that game. For all the problems Andromeda has, yeah.
Well, at least we got the moon buggy, right?
Yeah, well, somewhat. The open world design attached to the moon buggy leaves a lot to be desired, and when the game first launched, they probably fixed it by now, you could sequence break events very easily by just exploring before you did the plot stories. So, yeah, like you get voice messages over your radio from characters that you hadn't met yet. It was that bad. Like,
that seems like a glaring oversight.
yeah, I got a message from someone called PB early on who was talking like we had talked in the past. I'm like, who's PB? And then I found the cutscene where she introduces herself. She's the Asari party member. So I was getting messages from the Asari party member before she joined my party. It's like, how? Why? I don't... What?
Mr. Scam likely.
So yeah, that's how to do an open world area wrong. Definitely. Like, not account for the possibility that your players might do things out of order. But, you know, Andromeda had one hell of a development cycle, and it shows very evidently in its design. And I see people bitching about games like Final Fantasy 15 being unfinished, and then I look at Andromeda and I'm like, yeah, but you know, it could be this. And
yeah, but you can't use that as an excuse. It's like, hey, at least it's not this. No, but it's still this.
Yeah, but at least the game feels like it has polish, is what I'm saying. And this is considering that
better and worse are comparative terms.
And this is all.
Not definitions
and this is
of
all
quality.
after me doing a video saying that, in spite of Andromeda being an unpolished piece of shit in a lot of ways, I really, really like the game. Because it's just fun to play, you know? The mobility and the action is great. And I'm
pretty sure we all have that one game where it's like, the popular opinion.
We all know what yours is, Sean.
Unfavorable. No. I'm talking about like a game that is divisive at best. Not just considered outright shit, but divisive. But you just
and, you know, BioWare in their horrible "we just got bought out by EA" phase has a lot of those. Like Mass Effect 2 drops a lot of the RPG elements and just becomes like a really linear designed action game. Which it went back on a lot of those elements in Mass Effect 3 to a certain extent, but, you know, it was really, really well designed for what it was, but what it was pissed off a lot of fans of the first game. And then Dragon Age 2 had great characters and a great story concept, but goddamn, you go through the same areas of the game 3 times, and in all three acts you basically just sweep through the entire game again. So you backtrack the game twice, essentially.
So, Devil May Cry 4?
No, because Devil May Cry 4 had good combat, which Dragon Age 2 doesn't. The first game had strategically placed enemies that would force you to, you know, vary your tactics so that you had an engaging and challenging combat experience. Dragon Age 2 is basically enemy wave. Enemy Wave 2. Enemy Wave 3 with, like, general enemy with larger health bar. And on and on. And maybe you'd get
the Marvel Spider-Man arenas.
And maybe you'd get to fight an optional dragon.
Not Marvel for Spider-Man.
So, like... Yeah, but the characters are so goddamn endearing. I love the characters in Dragon Age 2, and some of the stories are really fun, even if the gameplay surrounding them is dull as bricks.
So what you're saying is that problem happens to a lot of BioWare games.
It happened to BioWare games in that period of time, specifically when they had just been bought out by EA, and EA seemed to have not gotten it into their thick skull that they had just bought a studio that makes really long and expensive RPGs that need more than 2 years to develop. You know? But, you know, they kind of realized that after Dragon Age 2, like, sold like shit or something, or at least got really bad critical reviews. Not really sure which happened. I'd have to look it up, but I'm too lazy to do that at this very second. What the fuck?
There's a platform beneath the border of the screen.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like something everyone would know. Fucking.
I found it.
Fucking retro ass obscure secrets. BioWare. I'm going back to BioWare because retro ass obscure secrets piss me off. Okay, so EA got it through their thick skulls that they needed to give BioWare time to let their RPGs cook. So Dragon Age Inquisition was okay, and Mass Effect 3 was okay if you got past like the fact that the lead writer left and they decided to go with a completely different ending that didn't really fit with much. Okay, and you know, once you add in all the DLC to Mass Effect 3, it's kind of a Final Fantasy 15 situation. It's like, wow, this game is finally finished. And it's really, really good once it's finally finished. But apart from that, things were looking up. And then they go and make Mass Effect Andromeda this, like, development hellscape of all kinds of problems, and it being shoved off to the, like, what is it, BioWare Montreal B team. And the product that comes out of it has a lot of ambition, but is basically held together by scotch tape, rubber bands, and a wad of gum. And that's where we are now. No, actually, I tell a lie. Where we are now is Anthem, but I'm not interested in Anthem because, like, multiplayer. Gross.
Can we not?
I don't even know what the controversy surrounding Anthem is. I was just like, I wasn't interested in Destiny. Why would I be interested in Destiny Mark II? You know?
No, I'm just more bummed because I actually had hopes for Anthem when it was first revealed.
And then you remembered it's EA.
And then it just got worse as more showed off. As like, fuck.
Well, you know,
man.
those multiplayer games are actually just like the perfect breeding ground for everything people hate about EA. So of course, I'm not even surprised. But
So we'll save that for a different time because otherwise we'll just talk about EA.
I'm not
that's what our
commentating
E3
over Anthem. I'm not.
No, I just meant in general. But our E3 shitting grounds are usually our E3 videos.
Well, you know, if you want to have an appropriate place to have this conversation, we could finally get to Mass Effect 2. I mean,
okay. Hey, look, it's a recolor boss.
Oh, is it a recolor? I didn't even notice because I'm used to seeing purple vultures. I mean, isn't the Looney Tunes? Aren't there purple vultures in Looney Tunes somewhere? I'm pretty sure it's a common cartoon.
You mean?
I mean, it's regular vultures.
Yeah, bashful buzzard.
Yeah, it's not purple though. Just regular color.
Well, you know, it seems like a simple enough color to recolor a vulture into because purple goes well with black in your brain. So you see it doesn't look too unnatural.
Yeah.
And birds come in weird colors.
Guys, it's that character from Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah, I think this is where Big Al's flux capacity
Oh my god,
on him.
it's
Or
Wart
something.
from Mario Brothers 2.
John, that's an even more obscure character.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's Wart from.
What is with?
There you go.
What is with King K. Rool pulling an odd job with his crown? That doesn't work if it doesn't have a razor edge, you dumbass. I mean,
Well, you can't jump on his head while the crown's on his head, so I'm assuming the crown's sharp.
well, probably, yeah, but he's throwing the crown, and it doesn't have a brim that has a sharp.
What's the? I mean, if you throw any object hard enough, it's gonna hurt.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Honestly.
Yeah, but the reason Oddjob's hat is lethal is because he has a saw blade hidden in the brim. You know, that's how that works.
Right.
It's
Gunlaus is cooler.
That's just an added bonus.
It's stupid, but you know you understand why it's a weapon. It's basically a throwing saw disguised as a hat. So yeah.
Okay, anything is a weapon if you throw it hard enough. Maybe not a pillow, but still.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to be an effective weapon.
No, I'm not questioning its
Look,
effectiveness.
we have this giant alligator who's 3 times as big as the gorilla fighting him, and instead of getting down and dirty and wrestling you into submission, he throws his tin can crown.
That's Donkey Kong 64.
He throws his tin can crown. It's like, okay, you're really not playing to your own strengths here, buddy. Just saying. The end? Question mark.
Nope, one more phase.
That's actually a pretty good joke considering the way video games were presented at the time.
Yeah.
Boop.
He's a fun boss, but he's way more interesting boss-wise than 2 and 3. At least to me, anyway. This one's just kind of basic.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, like, platforming bosses in general have never been particularly interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog did do some good ones, but then Sonic the Hedgehog was also the game that let you invincibility spam your way through the bosses by just intentionally taking damage. So, you know, the Lord giveth, but the Lord also taketh away, or some shit like that.
Well, it taketh everything but one ring away.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Truly
is
don't.
that if you actually try to play the bosses in Sonic the Hedgehog,
As they're intended, they take a lot longer.
they take a lot longer, but they're also more interesting to play because you have to navigate some fairly interesting attack patterns. And not on all the bosses. Some of them are, especially in Sonic 1, are pretty goddamn simple. But, you know.
Probably be different if you couldn't, like, just jump combo on Eggman in any of his Eggomatic boss fights, and I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
probably
same
would be.
time, achieving a jump combo in some of the bosses can be fairly challenging. Especially when they're higher up. Just
Yeah.
sometimes just keeping the combo going is a bit finicky. Oh yeah, the enemy roll call that a lot of old games used to have. I miss this. I mean, in this instance, it looks like their sprites are just sliding across a background, even when even when they're flying or slithering. So,
I mean, yeah, that's what's happening.
it's like, you know, if they're swimming or flying or doing spider cartwheels, it looks okay. But then when it's a ground-bound enemy that's supposed to be standing there and it just moonwalks through,
Yeah, like Clambo. What do you think a Monkey Kong mode would
did
be like?
the credits just pull a Pac-Man?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, in some weird way. And then Clambo and Squidge have a little baby. Then you gotta get milk for that baby.
There's a character called Crash in here. He's in a minecart.
Whoa.
Let's see. The bosses. Oh, video game actually calling bosses.
I like to call that
bosses.
one Fred.
Very naughty. Master Necky.
John gets it.
Queen Bee.
Yeah.
And really naughty. Dum Drum.
I just noticed that the sailboat in the picture on the background is actually a... it's not really a painting. The sail is kind of protruding out of the frame. What's going on there?
It's a collage.
Espresso.
Oh.
The animal friends are one thing I think the returns in Tropical Freeze are sorely missing on.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they...
Even then, like, who do you bring back though? Everybody, or just a select few? I wouldn't want.
Well, Squitter and Radley would be
Rhino
good.
comes back.
I think they...
Yeah, he's the only one though.
Rambi comes
I think
back.
they really just wanted a design focus on the different
I just think the
characters,
animal
you know?
I think the animal friends lead to more varied level design though, is the thing.
Somewhat, yeah. There is an argument to be made for keeping your game design focused so that you can make the most of a specific mechanic, and being able to switch between 4 Kongs is definitely a mechanic worth exploring. But they could have done.
Well, the Kongs are mostly DK is your Kong. The rest are basically just power ups.
Yeah, I know. But the point I'm trying to make though is that focusing on that, I understand why. But they could have done more.
No,
they could have done more
understand.
on top of it.
Yeah, I understand the why. It's just a matter of I would have liked it if they added a bit more variety with some more animal friends.
Well, maybe if they make another one, that would be nice.
Well, Retro's too busy making Prime 4.
Yeah. Well,
So, somebody woke up Retro Studios from their alarm and was like, "Oh fuck, what?"
After 10,000 years, I'm awake. Time to make some games.
Time to make Prime 4.
10,000 years can give you such a crick in the neck, huh?
Yeah. Will Smith's genie does look like he's made a phase on, so maybe it was meant to be.
Yeah, you just put like some black filters over parts of him, and you get a dark Samus.
You talking about Will Smith's genie?
Well, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like you gotta drink like 3 gallons of vodka to make that a reality. So.
You know what? I'm ambivalent toward Will Smith's genie with that reveal. With no build
West
up.
Talon 4, I was created and born.
With no build up, just seeing Will Smith as the genie for 2 seconds and then ending the trailer did him no favors. You know?
Super Nintendo Classic.
Oh, right. It goes dim if you leave it on too long. Because, you know...
Hey, Alias.
Ah!
It's all connected
Or,
here.
Elias.
There he is, Miyamoto.
Yeah, Miyamoto, who originally actually didn't like this game when it first came out.
Yeah.
What, did you think the graphics were trying too hard?
He
thought the game
gameplay
was
too
putting
basic.
graphics over gameplay, and he thought the gameplay was too shallow.
There's an argument to
Which
be
is
made for
which,
that,
which
yeah,
a little bit, but and then you realize that the game was too beloved to really say much more about that. But yeah, that's Donkey Kong Country. Next on our 10th anniversary list will be going up tomorrow. It's our redo of No More Heroes. Look forward to it.
Oh.